Hello, beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. It's a beautiful day in the far north of Maine, up along the Canadian border in the crown of Maine. And I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are as well. We are back in winter. We were in spring last week, winter this week. We are still quite above our seasonal temperatures. We're in the 20s. We're supposed to hit about 27, 28 today. Usually we're minus 15 degrees at this time of year. And next week, when school vacation happens, we generally go into the big deep freeze slide. It is the deep freeze of the year. Who knows what the hell it's going to be this year, because quite frankly, weather's all messed up. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, on a normal year, we would be sliding into minus 30, minus 35, minus 40. Last year, minus 63 degrees for the week of my birthday. Yes, sirree. In 4 days, I will be 53 years old. Oh my gosh. Age is just a number around here. Honestly, I don't care. I love the fact that I'm growing older. I am growing older with grace, because a lot of people don't get this privilege. And when I was younger, we didn't think I would get this privilege either. My birthday actually does mark a big monumental point in my life. And that is when I was 18 years old and had body parts removed due to a chronic illness. I was told, good luck, because you're only going to make it till 40. I am now 13 years past the marker. See? Nobody can tell you when the time is coming. I am 13 years over that mark. Today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Or as I wished my husband this morning, Happy VD. We're juvenile around here. We're still like we're in middle school or something. Anyways, we both got a good laugh out of it. We do not celebrate Valentine's Day on the homestead, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. We celebrate Valentine's Day 364 other days for the year. I've always had this thing against Valentine's, because I don't want Mr. Hallmark telling you that you should be telling me how much you love me one day a year. You better be telling me how much you love me 364 dang days a year, because that's what really matters, not when Mr. Hallmark writes up a card for you to give to me. All you gotta do is scroll your John Hancock across it. I don't think so. And flowers are too expensive. I refuse to buy flowers the week of my birthday. It's just, I forbid it. It's like, if you buy roses, they're getting thrown in the trash. I don't care that you spent a whole $35 on 7 roses. That's just not any other time of the year. They're $10.99 for 12. So I just don't buy into it. And we're on the no sugar added diet, so we're not eating any candy. And today is the first day of Lent. So if you do the Lent thing, it is a thing that I do around here, because it's been bashed into my head since I was a child. So I'm gonna go for my ashes later. And got a lot of giving up to do for Lent, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, it's been a long weekend, and the videos are short and slight in coming due to the weekend. I know I look like something the cat dragged in. Absolutely. If you are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or YouTube Music, be blessed, be thankful, be grateful that you cannot see the train wreck that I am today. If you are on YouTube watching the video, or on Rumble, go find me over on Rumble. It's Coffee with Kerri-Lynn, no hyphen. Coffee with Kerrilynn over on Rumble. Follow me over there. That's where we're putting the spicy content. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, 2024 is heating up. And there are things that we're going to need to talk about that I cannot talk about on these other platforms. However, if you are watching me on YouTube, please think about liking, subscribing, sharing my videos with a friend. Also, if you are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or YouTube Music, think about following me over there. Give me a 5-star rating. Honestly, guys, a thumbs up on the videos, a 5-star rating, a comment, a share. It all boosts me up in the algorithm. And let's AI know that you want to watch my content. We are a small channel. We are a growing channel. And I totally appreciate every single one of my subscribers. 137 subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing to my little podcast show here, where we drink coffee, and shoot the shite. That's what we do around here. Anything that pops into my head generally flies out my mouth, and sometimes we're both surprised what I actually think. It's been a long weekend. We spent the weekend in the emergency room, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. It was a very long weekend. Last Saturday, we had a birthday party for our grandson. He turned 3 years old. I'm sorry, he turned 4 years old on the 3rd. There we go. And some kids had a stuffy nose. Well, that came out and about on Tuesday. We started feeling a little under the weather. I had the sniffles, a little bit of a tickle in the throat. So, home good remedies, gargle with your salt and water. If you have kids, sugar and water. But if you're an adult, salt and water is what really works. And blow the nose 100 times and have your herbal tea. And by Thursday, I was feeling much better. It was really a nothing thing. It was like a little stuffiness, a little tickle. It was over. Well, it wasn't over for the old man. But I'm going to spill the tea of what happened at the hospital. So on Friday, he started feeling a little worse. And you know men. They ain't going to tell you. So we're at the Walmart. We're doing our weekly shopping purchase in Little China, because it's all we have up here is a Walmart Supercenter. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, you know how that goes. Big corporations move in, and it creates a retail desert for everything else. So we have to go to the Walmarts and at the pharmacy. And I says to the pharmacist, I need, because it's behind the counter these days, I need a Sudafed 12-hour. And they said, you need a prescription. And I said, excuse me? She says, yeah, you need a prescription for that in the state of Maine because it's the law. Apparently, in 2017, the great state of Maine passed a law that in order to get the Safudo, I don't know what the hell it is, ephedrine, whatever, the ingredient in the dang Sudafed that they make, meth out of, in order to combat the meth labs up here, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, our legislature in Augusta decided in 2017 that they were going to make it so that if you want Sudafed 12-hour, 6-hour, whatever has the pseudoephedrine in it, y'all need a prescription for that. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that you had to show your license or identification. You had to sign a book. Every time you purchased it, it was behind the counter pre-2017. Well, there was no 12-hour Sudafed. And the old man has a birth defect that makes it so that his sinuses don't drain adequately. And so we had to go with the Sudafed P. And I knew it wasn't going to work because he was really complaining about the pain on his face, and I says, oh God, this is going to be a rough one. And it was, because he woke up Saturday morning and we was in the friggin' ER. His face was swollen, it was sagging. I thought he had a stroke. It was awful. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, we go to the emergency room. Of course, he woke up really late, so it was, and then we had to get lunch. You know how guys are before they have to go to the emergency room. Wake up late, have to have something to eat before they go. He felt it was not he needed to go get seen. He knew that. And when a man knows that they have to go to the doctor, it's really bad. But, we could do things before that, such as get a coffee, grab something to eat, finally go to the emergency room. Well, it wouldn't matter if we walked in the door early in the morning or when we did in the afternoon. The point being was, they were jammed, absolutely jammed. We had a 5.5-hour wait in a community that you generally do not have more than 15 minutes to a half-hour wait at the emergency room. I felt like I was back in Rhode Island Hospital, waiting for my number to be called. It was absolutely terrible. But I did go around making friends. Bottom line, they gave him what he needed. I knew he just needed antibiotics to knock it out, and we're on the mend. Anyways, long story short, I'm making friends because I am Rosemary's granddaughter, so I am making friends in the emergency room because it's such a long bloody wait. You got to talk to people. So I went around asking people how they were, if they needed anything, would they like a water out of the vending machine? Can I get them anything? It's just something that I do. Talk to people, what are you here for? So on and so forth. And finally, 5.5 hours later, this is where the tea is coming, I promise you, I'm spilling the tea. 5.5 hours later, we're in the back and, getting seen. I have to find out the story from everybody. What's going on? Why is the hospital so jammed? So our lovely doctor comes in. We're a small community, so everybody knows everybody. Okay, I have to preface that. The community is so small, we're actually friends with 90% of the doctors and nurses at the hospital. That's how small our community is. Anyways, so I ask, cold and flu season? I get told, no, not cold and flu season. There's a thing happening. I have a friendly face. People like to talk. So the thing that's been happening is the hospital is full. There are no beds. They're full to capacity. What is this about? So I press a little more. Just have to ask the right question with a smile, like you're really concerned. Poor doctor, she's exhausted, da-da-da. He's exhausted. The nurses are exhausted, and you just gotta ease into these things. And seems that there's a huge rash of wild cancer up here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. The hospital is full of people with cancer. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a minute. It's almost a minute. I'm still going to let it sit there. Yep, we're filled up. The hospital's filled up. The town over there hospital's filled up. And there's a lot of cancer in the hospital. And it's horrific. So let's just let that roll over you, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. The doctor had no idea why there is so much cancer in the hospital right now. There is also an issue at the hospital where people are presenting with a cough. They think they got maybe bronchitis. Go to the doctor. Go to the stethoscope thing. Go take an X-ray. They're septic. So there's cancer and sepsemia in the hospital. Gonna let that wash over you a little bit too. Just kind of take that all in. Now, although my old man was on his deathbed, he still had to go to the job site. So he's at his site and at the job site and talking to some people. And he discovers that a woman that he knows very well, an older woman, elderly woman, she lost her husband last year and suddenly was completely unexpected, healthy as a horse, and then he wasn't. And she went to the doctors 2 weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, she told him she was head to toe with cancer and she's got about 6 weeks left. She just started feeling bad, went to the doctor, something's wrong, I'm feeling achy, I'm feeling tired, I'm just feeling like total crap all the time. And they gave her 6 weeks to expiration with the cancer that she has. It's a very aggressive cancer. Now in the news, we've all heard of turbo cancer, and it seems that on a small scale, just with the people I know, the 6 degrees of separation thing, and I did this all during the issue. The 2020 issue. 6 degrees of separation. Who did I know? Who did I know got the shite shot? Who did I know had a reaction? And that was my basis as to whether or not the news I was getting from all avenues, whether it was mainstream, legacy media, alternative media, that was the pulse for me as to if they were telling the truth. And here on these platforms, except for Rumble, we have to talk a little bit around about this. But in my experience, as we were going through things between 2020 and 2023, as we were going through things, I knew a lot of people that got what they got and then got very, very sick afterwards. Now, this is not medical anything. I don't care what you do. You do your thing. I'm a fully vaccinated human being for 99% of the vaccines that I was supposed to have right up until 2020. And then, whatever. That's my business. But, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, this is what's going on in small town USA and rural America. Our hospitals are filled to capacity. There are patients in the hallway, patients in the ER, and according to a friend of mine that did a great job treating my old man, the hospital is full of cancer patients and it is full of septic patients. So there you have it. What are you seeing in your areas? How are people acting and reacting in your area? I hope that everybody is acting kindly in your area and not doing the I told you so or any of that, because I know people that do that. I told you so. I told you so. Well, you know what? We are in a point in life, in an era in life that I told you so ain't helping nobody. And I tell my friends that are very uppity about what they did and didn't do through the roaring 20s, what they did and didn't do through the first few years of the 20s here. And, to stand above anybody and I told you so them after they did something that you chose not to do is not helping the situation. These people are dealing with some pretty ugly things in their lives, some pretty life-threatening, some pretty terminal, some pretty disgusting friggin' things in their life. So I need everybody at this point to have kindness and compassion in their hearts, whether you had medical procedures done or you didn't have medical procedures done. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, we have got to get through whatever crisis this is going on with people in our country medically. We've got to get through this together, and you need to show compassion for people who opted in, because now things are coming out in the news that are not good about what was in the thing, what was in the procedure, what is happening to people who took the procedure. And for those of you who didn't take the procedure, to go on in life with your nose in the air and doing the I told you so thing, it's really friggin' disgusting. And if you're doing that, you really do need to stop doing that, because there is nothing they can do to reverse this, and we have to have absolute compassion. Our hospital is full. This is a time where whatever choice you made was the choice that you made, but if you are healthy, then you need to have compassion for those who thought that at the time, with the knowledge that they had, that they were doing the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, and I thank you for joining me today. Even though today's episode is a little upsetting, it's a little sad. Get your 5-can challenge going. Get those 5 cans on your shelf, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world. I'm going to start hitting you hard with it. I'm going to start pushing really hard for this, because if you're paying attention, out there, if you think outside of the box, if you let your imagination wander for just a little bit, then you can see what's coming. And if you don't, then maybe by me constantly berating you to get 5 extra cans of something in your pantry, on your shelves, in case of inclement weather. They had a big nor'easter in southern New England, and that could happen to you too. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, stay compassionate and be kind always to anybody that you meet. You don't know what they are going through, especially these days. Beautiful creatures of the world, carpe diem. no one promised you a tomorrow.